Welcome back to Plot Recap. Today we are breaking down the wild, unpredictable horror masterpiece, Barbarian. We are throwing out the filler and locking our focus directly on the shocking plot twists and dark, subterranean secrets that made this film an instant classic. The nightmare begins on a pitch-black, rain-drenched night in Detroit. A young woman named Tess drives down an eerie, unlit street to reach a house she rented on Airbnb for an important job interview the next morning. But when she steps up to the porch and tries the digital key box, she finds it completely empty. As panic starts to set in, a man named Keith opens the front door. He explains that the property was accidentally double-booked on 2 different apps, and he is already settled inside. Stranded in a dangerous, unfamiliar city with no open hotel rooms nearby, Tess reluctantly accepts his offer to stay the night. But every red flag in her mind immediately begins to scream. Keith seems polite, offering to pour her wine and making quiet conversation, but the air is thick with uncomfortable tension. Tess sleeps with her bedroom door double-locked, completely on edge. The next morning, she drives out into the sunlight and realizes the horrifying reality of her location. The entire neighborhood of Brightmoor is a completely abandoned, decaying wasteland of ruined houses, and this single Airbnb is the only standing structure left alive on the entire block. When Tess returns from her interview later that afternoon, her stay turns into a nightmare. She gets accidentally locked in the dingy basement when the door slams shut behind her. While searching the dark room for a way out, she notices a small, hidden rope hanging from a loose wooden wall panel. Pulling the rope causes the entire wall to swing open, revealing a hidden, heavy door that leads down into a pitch-black concrete corridor. Driven by a mix of intense fear and curiosity, Tess steps inside using her phone flashlight to guide her path. She wanders down the corridor and uncovers a subterranean prison cell. Inside the windowless room sits a filthy mattress, a plastic bucket, a blood-stained wall, and a video camera permanently mounted on a tripod. This isn't just a basement storage room, it is an active human dungeon. Horrified by what she has seen, Tess manages to escape the basement and warns Keith the moment he returns home. Keith assumes she is just overreacting to an old house, but he decides to head down into the dark tunnel alone to check it out. When he fails to return after several long minutes, Tess is forced to overcome her terror and follow his footsteps back into the subterranean maze. She finds Keith frozen in absolute shock at the end of a long, wet tunnel. But before they can turn and run, a massive, deformed, naked woman emerges from the shadows with unnatural speed. In a horrific display of raw power, the creature grabs Keith and violently crushes his head against the concrete wall, killing him instantly while Tess screams in total horror. Right at this peak moment of terror, the film executes a brilliant, jarring structural twist. The narrative suddenly cuts away from Tess entirely, jumping to a sunny highway in California to introduce a brand new character. An arrogant, self-centered Hollywood actor named AJ. AJ is the actual owner of the Airbnb property, and he is flying out to Detroit to inspect his real estate assets after being hit with a massive career-ending scandal. Completely unaware of the gruesome double murder that took place inside his rental property just hours earlier, AJ casually enters the house with a tape measure to calculate the square footage for a quick sale. He wanders down into the basement, stumbles onto the hidden panel, and walks directly into the subterranean tunnels. Instead of fleeing, his greed drives him deeper inside, where he discovers Tess chained up inside a rusted cage. Here, the film drops its darkest, most disturbing reveal about the house's sinister history. Decades ago, during the 1980s, the original owner of the home, a sick, meticulous predator named Frank, kidnapped dozens of women and held them captive in these exact underground bunkers. Over generations of forced breeding and severe inbreeding in the pitch-black darkness, a mutated, hyper-strong descendant was born. The mother. The creature isn't hunting them out of pure evil. Her broken, primal brain is driven by a warped, overpowering maternal instinct. She views Tess and AJ not as intruders, but as her new babies, attempting to force-feed them filthy milk from a giant baby bottle. Desperate to stay alive, AJ creates a frantic distraction, allowing Tess to break free from her heavy chains and scramble up to the street level. She runs out onto the dark pavement and flags down a passing police car. But the skeptical officers refuse to believe her absurd story about underground mutant dungeons and drive away, leaving her stranded. Knowing AJ is still trapped in the hellhole below, Tess makes a remarkably brave choice. She gets into a car and drives it straight into the house, smashing through the basement wall to rescue him. Together, they flee through the abandoned streets toward a giant rusted water tower at the edge of the neighborhood. But the mother pursues them with superhuman speed and strength, tearing through wood and metal like paper. Cornered at the very top of the high water tower, AJ reveals his true selfish nature once again. He violently shoves Tess off the edge to save his own skin. But in a shocking turn of events, the mother dives off the tower after her, using her own massive body to cushion Tess's fall as they crash onto the pavement below. Tess miraculously survives the impact, while the creature lays broken on the ground. AJ climbs down, pretending to be a heroic savior. But Tess, finally seeing his cowardly nature, grabs a fallen revolver. With tears in her eyes, Tess whispers, "Good night," and pulls the trigger, ending the multi-generational nightmare of Brightmoor forever. Thank you for watching this deep psychological breakdown on Plot Recap. If this twist-filled horror summary kept you on the edge of your seat, smash that subscribe button right now, drop a like, and tell us in the comments what movie we should cover next.